California, housing changes. We have a crisis on our hands, and it is happening all across the United States and America. But I think that it's more pronounced over in California. California has been so bad with homelessness. Shout out to Bilderberg. Shout out to the cultivator. I'm going to be reading those super chats shortly. California has been so bad with their housing crisis that they have not solved for. And their governor has been so stupid, to put it lightly, that it's now becoming a thing. It's now becoming a tour.
So you've heard of the stories of crime, drug use, and homelessness in San Francisco, and now for only $30, a self-proclaimed expert will take you on a guided tour through the worst of all of it. It's called the Downtown Doom Loop Walking Tour. Tickets for next Saturday were on sale on Eventbrite for $30, but are already sold out. The tour goes through Mid-Market, Tenderloin, Union Square, and City Hall. The description isn't shy about the way it feels about the city, claiming to explore the policy changes that made America's wealthiest city into the nation's leader in mental health crisis. The guide, who only goes by SF Anonymous Insider, says, quote, "We will view the open-air drug markets, the abandoned tech offices, the outposts of the nonprofit industrial complex, and deserted department stores."
San Francisco, California, Oakland, DC. It has gotten so bad on the West Coast specifically and over in California. It has gotten so bad, the housing crisis, that they're now doing a doom loop walking tour in San Francisco. They're capitalizing off of the fact that you can walk down the street and see somebody drop some poop on the ground. And that's just normal now. Businesses have tents in front of their businesses that people can't walk into anymore. Yo, I heard that it's so bad over in California as far as the crime and the homelessness crisis that people are scared to order DoorDash because they don't want to give their addresses, especially if they live in a more affluent community, because they're afraid that people are going to come back and rob them. You can't make this up. See, when you're not a criminal, when you don't live under duress, you don't think about stuff like this. I hear it's so bad over in California that people are afraid to do the Uber Eats, DoorDashes, Grubhubs, whatever like that, because they're afraid that the people that deliver their food is possibly setting them up to then come back and rob them later on. You can't even order a burger and get it delivered to your crib anymore. That when they go into a department store, a lot of these people then put masks on, and then they have to make sure that they take a crazy way home from these luxury department stores, because it is a thing now that people are following them home and then robbing them of whatever it is that they just purchased. Shout out to Next Level. I appreciate you on Cash App. What kind of world do we live in where this is our norm?
Well, that expert, sounds exciting.
Yeah, right? That expert claims to be an urban policy professional who works as a city commissioner. Proceeds allegedly will go to a nonprofit, but of course, as many people have said, you could also just go there and spend no money, not $30. You could just see all that for free.
You know,
so interesting.
Yeah,
it's kind of a weird thing to talk about, but USC and UCLA, whenever they would play Stanford or Cal, it's always a big deal for their fans to go spend the weekend in San Francisco.
Mm-hmm. Nope.
Maybe that's why they jumped to the other conference.
Oh, yeah. Now they can go see sunny Indiana.
Look at the news people.
Right, exactly.
The news people
All
is
right,
capping.
Breaking Buzz again next Tuesday.
See you next
same
Tuesday,
time,
and I will
same
see you
place.
back here at the 5 p.m. as well.
The news people is running up the score on their own city. That's unfortunate. But the California governor is now allowing for people to do ADUs. They're allowing them to sell. In New York, one of the things that Eric Adams and his administration had administered basically was the death of Airbnbs in New York, because they said that they had a housing crisis, they had the migrant crisis. And so in order to encourage people to put more homes on the market for them to have long-term rentals and selling and stuff like that, they decided to get rid of the Airbnb market in order to prevent people from being able to do short-term leases, and instead you can start doing long-term leases. Well, over in California, they're allowing homeowners to start selling ADUs. We'll explain it shortly, but let me break it down for you.
Governor Newsom signed a bunch of new laws designed to help create more housing in California.
Janelle's kind of hot. Hold on. For some reason, these news anchors, they do something. Oh, Anton, don't talk about it. Man, let me tell you something. I'm a man. I got eyes. I didn't know Janelle Wang was going to be over here giving us the news. Okay, Janelle. Less is more. I like the pearl earrings. You got the V out. She's selling it to us. Yo. Don't get mad at me. She promoting it. I can't stand it when y'all wear all of this skimpy stuff. You got your arms out, got your legs out, got your earrings on, got your cleavage out, and then you tell me don't look. All right, Janelle, break it down for us. Let me start from the beginning.
New laws designed to help create more housing in California. One actually allows homeowners to sell ADUs, also known as in-law units, that are on their property.
I see you, Janelle.
But how will that work? Investigative reporter Hilda Gutierrez joins us now with some answers. Hilda.
We got to focus.
Yes,
hey, fellas. Janelle ain't fine enough for us to forego the bag. We got to focus so I can teach y'all about what ADUs are, okay?
Are often converted garages or a separate small building behind a larger home. Under the new law, owners of those properties can sell the attached or separate housing units, applying the same rules as selling a condo. For example, the main home and ADU will have two different property taxes and get separate utility bills for water, sewer, gas, and electricity. Each property might also have to form a homeowners association.
So, I'm going to let them finish, but let me basically break it down for you. If you are a property owner, and let's just say, for example, you have a home, and then you have a backyard, you are now allowed to sell a portion of your land, basically, in order to build another piece of property that California can now tax, and they're calling it an ADU. So basically, you selling a part of your backyard, you selling your garage, you building something on your property, and then now there's going to be two separate property taxes, which adds to the coffers. It adds to the coffers of California so they can continue to raise money in order to go and fumble it on things that's not relevant to society, right? But also on top of that, you have separate homeowners association fees. You now have separate utility prices or utility costs and all of that. So now in order to solve for some of the homelessness crisis and to add more affordability to people not living on the street and doing van life, they basically separating their backyards in order to create another piece of living space for you. And you're going to have to pay property taxes on that also. It's called an additional dwelling unit, I believe.
To assess dues to maintain shared space, such as a driveway, a pool, or a common roof. The state housing department reports that 1 in every 5 new housing units built in the state today is an ADU. Check out how many were just added to homes in the Bay Area or are in the process of being added. We looked up ADU applications by county and found Santa Clara had the most with over 2,200 ADU applications in 1 year, followed by Alameda and San Mateo County, San Francisco.
Now, you got to also remember that this also calls for, and it keeps money circulating within the state. Well, how does that happen, Anton? Well, you got to hire construction crews. You got to build these units. You have to build them up to code. You got to pull permits. You got to go back and forth in order to get this stuff approved. You got to get it written off, signed off. Jose says we turn it into a garage in the studios here in Fort Lauderdale, and they're going for $1,200. I talk to people on coaching calls all the time, and they say, Anton, keep me updated on what it is that you're experiencing as far as building these places in order for us to be able to do the same thing, except for we're just going to section off a piece of the yard that we have for our multi-unit property and see if we can build an additional dwelling unit in order to increase the profitability of owning this land, owning this space.
Assemblymember Phil Ting, who drafted the legislation, says this will give more people home ownership opportunities.
And that's how they're going to sell it.
This does a couple things. It increases the number of housing units throughout the state because ADUs are smaller and because you oftentimes share that property with another neighbor. They come a little bit cheaper, so they're cheaper to rent. They're also cheaper to purchase should they be sold.
Now, this is important. The new law allows local cities to allow the buying and selling of ADUs, so they have to opt in. Ting says ADUs are already being sold separately, sometimes for up to 30% of the entire home value in state.
So basically, people had already been renting out their garages and converting their spaces over there in order for you to be able to survive, because a lot of people over there in California, they got roommates. They can't really afford the places on their own. It'd be 4 or 5 different people that don't even know each other, all living in a house together, right? But basically, the state is saying, we want our cut. We want our cut. So this is how they're selling it to you. Hey, guys, we're going to allow for you to then build an ADU or sell an ADU, which is another form of affordable housing, from our property in order to ease the homelessness crisis and make things available to the people. So they're not building more houses, actually. They're not going the traditional route of home ownership. They're not doing any of that. Nah, I'm going to pass on Hilda, Sam to God. Hilda not really my thing. I mean, if I had just got out of prison and I had did a dime and I hadn't did anything and I don't have no prospects and I'm just trying to figure it out, yeah, we'll take Hilda. We'll take that down. You know what I'm saying? We get back on our feet. Shout out to Hilda. But nah, Hilda's not really my thing. I'm more into the dark ladies. You know what I'm saying? I like the dogness. I like dogness. But basically, the state is saying that we want our cut. We want our cut. We want the ability to continue to tax you. And taxes is everywhere. Taxes is, listen, there has never been a bigger scam than taxes. Ever. Because you're taxed not just what it is that you make, but you're taxed based off of your living space and your dwelling. You taxed when you go out to eat and the amount of money that they put on top of it in order for you to continue to get food. You're taxed when you hire people and then you have to get unemployment taxes and you got to pay payroll tax. You're taxed in every single thing, every product that you buy, every plane ticket that you get, every time you go to the gas station, they taxing you. When you play the lottery, they're taxing you. They're going to take more than half of everything that you make. And so all they're doing is taxing you to death. Everything that you do, over half of everything that you do in life is taxes. Way more than half. This is just another way for them to be able to tax you. And this is one of the reasons why I keep telling y'all it's important for y'all to tap in, for you to align yourself with a group of people that's going in the direction that you're going in order to better understand how you can reduce the amount of money that they already taken out of your budget, out of your government check. Shout out to Hilda. Why would you name your kid Hilda? So California is now finessing y'all and they selling y'all ADUs and they telling you that it's some form of affordable housing in order for them to ease the crisis, but it's not. It's a way for them to continue to fill the coffers, and they're going to market it to you that way in order to keep Gavin Newsom inside of office. And I think that Gavin Newsom is quite possibly the worst governor in the United States of America, but Brandon Johnson is the worst mayor in the United States of America. But we going to get there, and y'all keep voting them in, and then y'all complaining about it as a result of it. But we going to get there. And so ADUs is something that California is leveraging, and they're taxing you on it, and you will continue to pay for it, all right?